They searched for him, handed out flyers with information about him, pleaded with him to come home. Tonight, 12-year-old Jaliek Rainwalker's adoptive parents are speaking out, sitting down together for the first time, talking about what happened November 1st. That's the last time they saw the troubled boy, who hasn't been heard from or seen since. New at 6, News 10's Anya Tucker sits down with Jaliek's parents for the exclusive emotional story of their last hours with Jaliek.
Stephen Kerr and his wife Jocelyn spoke to us from Stephen's parents' home in Greenwich. It's the only place that Jaliek was allowed to stay after his father says his rages became too much for them to handle. He says the night Jaliek went missing, they had just come back from Albany. Jaliek had been at a respite home, a break from the family, after allegedly making a sexual threat to another child. Stephen says on the ride back he wanted Jaliek to apologize to his family.
Somewhere in Easton, I mentioned to him that he was going to have to get together with a group of children who he had seriously damaged his relationship with. And then he didn't say another word. When we arrived here, I asked him to go to bed. I don't even think he said goodnight.
Stephen, the last person to see Jaliek, says he watched a movie and then went to bed. In the morning, he found a goodbye note.
And what did you think?
Oh my God.
Stephen and his wife say suspicion was immediately placed on them.
When Stephen still refused to take the polygraph and refused to confess to something that they were trying to get him to confess to, they were asking him questions which are totally inappropriate.
In addition to refusing the polygraph and to offering up DNA, police point to Stephen's strange behavior, like selling eggs at Jaliek's vigil and also going on and on about Martin Luther King Jr.
I know that you're very passionate about Martin Luther King.
No, I'm very passionate about my son.
In Greenwich, Anya Tucker, News 10.
Coming up tonight at 11, you'll hear more from Stephen Kerr and Jocelyn McDonald. They talk about who may have taken Jaliek in and why they believe police are failing in the search to find their son. The parents of a missing 12-year-old boy are telling their side of the story in the midst of the ongoing effort to find him. The search for Jaliek Rainwalker will continue early tomorrow with police draining a dam along the Battenkill here in Greenwich. The boy has been missing since November 1st.
Jaliek's adopted father, Stephen Kerr, says the two of them got into an argument on the ride back to Washington County from a respite foster home in Albany. And tonight, News 10's Anya Tucker sits down with Jaliek's parents exclusively to talk about what happened next.
Stephen Kerr says the drive back to his father's Greenwich home was uneventful with Jaliek. That's until he told his troubled son that he would have to apologize for allegedly threatening to rape another child.
And then he didn't say another word. When we arrived here, I asked him to go to bed. I don't even think he said goodnight.
And when Stephen, the last person to see Jaliek, woke up the next morning, he says his son was gone. Nothing but an apology note left behind. Stephen and his wife Jocelyn McDonald say they firmly believe that their 12-year-old adopted son, Jaliek, ran away. Police have searched for Jaliek. They say his parents are being uncooperative. Stephen has refused a polygraph test and to also offer up his DNA. Jaliek's parents say it's because the police have been accusatory from the start.
They were asking him questions which are totally inappropriate, like, oh, so you watched a porn movie with your son and you had sex with him and then you hit him on the head and dropped him in a ditch. Just tell us where the ditch is.
Police say it is Stephen's own behavior that has led to suspicions, like during a recent vigil for Jaliek when Stephen sold eggs and spoke more about Martin Luther King Jr. than his son.
I know that you're very passionate about Martin Luther King.
No, I'm very passionate about my son. And you know what? If you can't rely on people you call your heroes when the time is tough, who do you rely on? News media? Jerry Springer?
Stephen says he has nothing to do with Jaliek's disappearance and has committed his life to taking care of troubled children just like Jaliek.
So I would like everybody watching to know that my wife and I committed to 2 children that the rest of you threw away.
In Greenwich, Anya Tucker, News 10.
As for where Stephen Kerr and his wife believe Jaliek is now, they say their son may have sought refuge with a gang in Albany. They were in Arbor Hill this weekend passing out flyers. If you'd like to see News 10's exclusive interview with Jaliek's parents in its entirety, you can head to our website. That's WTEN.com and look for the banner at the top of the page.